Asna Japan, Asna Japan, Asna Nule.
Ever since football has been like
That's enough, man. We got to always laugh at Arsenal, man. Big up to every single one that's locked in. Make sure we're liking and make sure we're subscribing. Subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Road to 3K. We've already started. Look. We already started the nonsense of this protest, guys. Let's protest, everyone. Let's protest to get owners that are never going to leave. Luke out, look, Bali out. Big up. At least you're saying big up. Because I thought you were going to disrupt and not say big up. Listen, big up to every single one of you, man. Big up to Yasser. Habibi. Andrew, sir, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. How are we?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I hope they play that Arsenal bird off at the protest on next Tuesday. So that will really get everyone in the mood, I think. You know, that's all it is, man. That's all it is. Well, we'll talk about it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm all good. Hopefully, Real Madrid get the job done tonight. Dump City out the
we don't want
League. No? Oh, I do.
No, we want City to go as far as possible for the coefficient, bro.
No, Scott allowed to give.
No, bro, we need the coefficient to get fifth, my guy. I'm not to get Champions League.
We need top four, mate. I'm not. The fifth is not good enough. Fifth is basically sick. On that, man. On that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there's literally only one way to start. Like, we could sit and talk about C's performances on the pitch and the fans booing and Maresca out and Roman chants and there was two chants and a lot. Okay, but the story of the week so far is idiots on TalkSport, and it's protests, and it's a body out, it's owners out, and I honestly, it's basically, when is this protest? 25th? When is that? Next week? Yeah.
Before the Southampton game. Before Southampton game. Yeah, okay. Before it. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone know? Like, because listen, Jason, why are you making fun of the protest? What is more narrative is to leave? Can you explain to me what's the point of this protest? Andrew, Scott, anyone? What is the actual point? Because I think if people are going, they don't know why they're going, and I think the only reason they're actually doing this protest is because they've had this agenda the whole time with owners, Ekbali, Bowley, whatever. They've had this agenda. They don't like them for whatever reason, and now they're continuing on to Chelsea's bad performances, and now they're continuing on bomb. They take an opportunity. We're performing bad. So let's get these owners out and let's be.
Yeah. Ziad, look at the private chat for me, will you, please? Because I agree. Yeah. So what the protests are about and what they should be about are starting to sound like two different things, because there doesn't seem to be a consensus about what it should be actually about. I don't mind the protest. I support the protest. I find that, for me, the thing I find is the timing of the protest. And will it continue after the Southampton game? Because there's no point of having a protest Southampton game and then not a protest after at the Leicester game, and so on and so on. What it is about, or should be about, is, for me, I don't mind the term saying blue collar clear lake out, even though I don't think they'll get out because they can't sell, they won't sell the club yet. But I think it's just for me, it would be a protest against how it's being run, how the model is, how it's, how we're not happy with. I don't mind 1.2 billion being spent, but how it's spent, how we didn't support the manager in the transfer window when he's done a very good job up until then. You know what I mean? How we, how we're waiting till the summer, and for me, it's like, well, why are we waiting till the summer when we need Champions League football, and we didn't spend in January to get us closer to Champions League football? But what I'm hearing and what I'm reading and what we saw in TalkSport today sounds like a multitude of things are being protested against. It's either Blue Co out, Clear Lake out, Igbali out, Bowley out, sporting directors out, change the model. We're 140 million pounds in debt, and all that rubbish. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean, or get the Americans out. That's another thing that's invading the thing. I back the protest. I find it bemusing that why is it now? Why wasn't it last summer? And I agree with him being sacked, but why wasn't it after Poch was sacked? Why wasn't there a protest then? Why wasn't there a protest when Maresca was hired? Why wasn't there a protest after the transfer window when we didn't do enough? Why wasn't there a protest after the League Cup when we went out? Why wasn't there a protest during the winning run? Why is it now there's a protest? Because if everyone still felt the same as they do about the club, then why didn't they do it? Why didn't they do it then? Why is it now? Or is it, as I'm sort of looking at it, is it just because we haven't won enough games over the last month or so? Because I think it's our run of form and what we didn't do in the transfer window is why the protest is happening now. Because we never heard any protest or organising protests before that. So that's my thing. I support it, but because now you see the clear picture. Because we didn't know what they were going to do. We didn't know what they were doing before we see the clear picture. Shut up, man. Clear picture. We knew what they were doing before. Unbelievable. This is what I'm talking about. People, now everyone can see what they're doing. They've shown us for 2 years what they're doing. What are you doing? What are you talking about?
We knew what the plan was for January as well, because I know some of it comes down to January and the lack of planning. We know what they were doing in January before January started. A report came out, like a month before January started, saying they plan to have no action in the window. The plan was to have a very quiet window. That happened a month before January started. That was in December, or end of November, start of December, when we were winning. And no one gave a shit. And everyone even said at the time, that's good because we did what we needed to do in the summer. We've got a good enough squad. Then we started to hit some poor form. Players started to get injured here and there. And then it was like, and one of our players decided to take drugs. Forgot about that. And then it got to January and we decided, because I think it was right to go, okay, some things have changed. Our squad is now in a bit of a different position where it was. We now need to address it, which I think we can all agree we needed to. We didn't, and that's a fault of the owners. But to say that things are now clearer because of 2 losses to Brighton is nonsense. Like, nothing about these owners have acted the exact same way since outside of that first transfer window, which was all because of for 5 windows and for 2.5 years. These owners, when I say these owners specifically, Barley and Clearlake, have acted in the same way.
We see this one here. You see this one here. This process should literally be about changing the model. Go on.
I just want to say this, right? These same fans protesting 2 months ago said we had our Chelsea back. We've got our Chelsea back. And now they're saying we want our Chelsea back. Right?
Correct.
And Jason, you're saying it was always a theory. No, it wasn't. They told you what they were doing. What do you mean it was a theory? They told you how what they were doing. There's
an interview that was conducted in America with Egbali, because I saw it the other day. It's embarrassing, by the way. Like, if anyone hasn't seen it, I recommend you go and watch it. It's with Egbali, it's with the owner of AC Milan, and it's the owner of another football club. I can't remember who. And that they're sat there talking about like why they bought these clubs and the plan and everything. And Egbali literally says that all he talks about the entire interview is about money and about business and about profits and about markets and about moving into this market and that market and following the Brighton model. He says it in that. That was when they bought the fucking club, or that was like a year or 2 ago. So it's like we knew this was the case. The only hope that some of us had, like myself, was hope that when certain players became available in the summer, like your Osimhen's, your Elise's, it was the hope that, okay, they're going to go out and get those guys. Despite what they're doing in terms of buying the young players, when the big players roll around, they'll still go and get those as and when they can, if the right opportunity, quote unquote, arrives. The summer transfer window just told us they're not. And then they doubled down in January. So it's like, we already knew everything we already needed to know. Everything that's happened this season just reaffirmed it all. So it's like, I agree with Andrew. I think that the original idea of the protest and what it should be about is about changing the model. If you're going to this protest to either call for the owners out, not use that, because I think that message is the best message you can use to concisely convey your point. Like, it's not really the right message, but it's probably the best. It's either that or change the model. It's probably what else you could use. But if you're going there to try and get the owners out when they can't leave, or you're going there to, even worse, be xenophobic, which I guarantee 50% of the people at least going there are planning to be, then you're an idiot and you're wasting your time.
Listen, the honest thing is, I don't like the model. I don't like the model. But I don't scream Clear Lake or Blueco out because they're billionaires. It's not like you're getting a manager out or anything like that. And just Nahima, City by youngsters. They bought their 2 young defenders just because it's high prices. Mamouche and Gonzalez aren't that much experienced. Mamouche wasn't a big name until this season.
Gonna kill me, man.
Mamouche wasn't a big name till this season, and Gonzalez was loaned or given to Porto off the Barcelona conveyor belt and only really emerged this season, or maybe last season. My mind's a bit off from that, but they're big prices, but they're not experienced. Do you know what I mean? So every club, by the way, is doing this type of model now. Every club's going to do this type of model in England. They're doing it. We're seeing it. Even the best. Liverpool are probably going to do it. Man United are definitely doing it. Spurs have definitely done it. We've definitely done it. And Arsenal will do it as well. So every club will do it. Man City have done it. They've just paid big prices for them. In Mamouche and Gonzalez and paid £135 million for them. But they're young and not that experienced. So
in fairness to City, though, like,
it's the profiles. That's the difference. It's the profiles.
I don't think it's the profiles. I think the difference with City and most other clubs is like they already had their experience either at the club or they bought in other windows. Like, for example, in the summer, they bought back Gundogan. They bought in Gvardiol, who, like, I know he's kind of young, but at least had multiple years either at Zagreb or Leipzig playing Champions League and playing regular first team football. I'm trying to think who else they signed, but it's like part of the reason they're where they're at in terms of like not doing well is because the attack consists of Savio in his first season in the Premier League, Doku, who's average and is also inexperienced, Grealish, who is killed in that, like he needs to leave, and that was it in their attack pretty much, and then Haaland and an aging Silva.
So before his injury, going to incorporate Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as if like they went off and got another a goodish winger that we all know. They were even going to incorporate now this Argentina kid, Echeverri, whatever his name is, into. But every club, even City, are doing it like nearly full way or 3/4 of the way. So it's happening all over England. You know what I mean? That's what's happening right now. All people are re-signing their players. Bayern Munich are re-signing a load of players, a lot in the summer. Do you know what I mean? That's what's happening. You know, it's just oh my god. See, that deserves a ban right there. I'm sorry, that deserves a ban. That is the time.
No, I think we've been rushed. We've been rushed by Mo. Big up to Mo for the redirect. I appreciate you.
Okay, no problem. I get it.
All of a sudden, the whole Chelsea fan base want the owners out, but these don't want the old manager back. It's like, listen, mate, you're a bit behind there. I'm
not justifying it. I'm not justifying it. This is the problem. I'm just telling you how it is. I'm justifying whatsoever. That's the problem. This is what we discussed backstage. If you try and explain something that people don't like, you immediately called like or like justifying it or brown envelope and all that shit. I'm just trying to let this. If you can't see it for yourself, then that's on you. I'm just trying to explain to you what's going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you know, I'm Clear Lake. I'm a Clear Lake shield. That's all right.
We're all getting paid by Clear Lake. We're all getting paid by Clear Lake. Listen,
this is sponsored by Clear Lake, isn't it? This stream.
There we go. Sponsored by Clear
Lake. We'll get our brown envelopes in the post in like a day or two. Don't worry.
Listen, you lot mentioned it. My biggest issue with this whole thing is that 2 months ago we had Chelsea fans singing "Chelsea are back." We've got a Chelsea back. Fair play, Clear Lake. Maresca is the right man. Look at Sancho. Look at Neto. Look at Caicedo, man of the match every week. And now they want the owners out. I'm sorry, that makes no sense.
But that's
you don't go from that extreme to another in 2 months. I'm sorry, you just don't. I'm sorry, you don't sit here and talk about how the squad is finished, how we need new centre backs, how we need more leaders, etc. No striker. The system can't work without a striker. Maresca's hands are tied without a striker and all that rubbish. Okay. But back then, 2 months ago, we were playing good football. We were winning games. So what's going on here? This is why I said it's literally just going on from the start of the season where no one wanted these owners. You all hated them. You all thought they were clueless. the start of the season that we were actually doing well, and now we do bad, you're flipping like, yeah, let's do a protest.
No, but that's ultimately, I think, what it is, and I think that's ultimately the issue going forward, and why I think these protests are going to mean nothing. Especially, I know we're going to probably touch on it with the nonsense that happened today on Talksport, is because, like, say these say that the protests are happening, right? What happens after we beat Southampton and Leicester? Because I think we will, despite how shit we are. They are terrible. What happens when we beat them back-to-back games? Then what? Are we going to be we got our Chelsea back? Because by that point, we may, depending on other results, we may be up to fifth or back in top four or whatever. Like, are we going to be chanting, we got our Chelsea back again? Are we going to be celebrating? Are we going to be clapping the players again? Are we going to be, like, not caring anymore? Because that was what happened at the start of the season. And ultimately, again, that goes back to it of, like, even if, like, the protests are right, 100%, again, as long as the message is right, which I don't even know if it is at this point, but are people going to care if we start winning again? Because I don't think they will, because I didn't care before.
I'm also, my cynicism comes from, I'm older than these two guys, I'll admit that. My cynicism comes with being older and, like, just the world. I think if 7 more points than we had right now, no one doing it right now. I'm convinced. If we moved up 2 from 9 to 4 to 9, but we were 50 and 7 points off of Liverpool and 3 points off of Arsenal or whatever it is, or something like that, whatever it is, no protest would be happening right now. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe these protests are linked to reform and non-action in the transfer window. That's what these protests are linked to. Because otherwise, if you're always like this and you always thought, oh yeah, they're really, like, oh, where were these protests all first half of the season, or mention of them? But there was none. There's no mention of them. Like you said, we got our Chelsea back less than 2 months ago. Now, where did it go in between? Hang on. Where did your Chelsea go? Where did your Chelsea go between that? Where did it go? Where it left?
So what happens if we win on Saturday?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
What happens if we play good football? So if we perform the way we performed at the start of the season on Saturday, score a lot of goals, play good football, and beat Aston Villa away, then what?
Well, that's the fact. We'll have to wait and see. It's a wait and see thing, isn't it? If we win 4-0 against, I know it's a long shot. It's a very long shot. Okay, but just broaden your horizon. Just accept. Just like in a reality. If, for instance, say if we win 3-0 at Villa, by them give us a penalty and a red card, we score another 2 goals. What happens then to the protest? Does it still continue? What happens then if we then beat Southampton? Do you follow that on against Leicester? And then what happens if you beat Leicester? Because there's no point having one protest on a Tuesday night at home to Southampton. You must continue that protest throughout the rest of the season, surely. That's what you should do if you want change. Because I think football fans, I'm not just bipolar. How do they support, right? In terms of this, in terms of winning covers everything. Winning will change everything. Your football team winning will make you forget about everything. Will make you forget about bad signings, forget about how you feel about the owners, everything like that. It just will. Losing is when losing just brings up everything again. I always knew that blah 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 wasn't good enough, or the rest was good enough less than 2 months ago, but now it's not good enough. But,
Go on, Scott. Listen, what happens if we win on Saturday and we even if we win the game on Tuesday? What if we just go on a winning run now?
I don't know. Like, I think the like there'll still be people that go to the protest just because you'll have the alcoholic, xenophobic people that want to just chant about the owners and how greedy they are and the fact they're American and they're trying to kill this sport and this, that, and the other, and Americans never win anything despite the fact they win things regularly with other clubs. Yeah, and you'll get people that go for that reason, but I think all it's going to do, it's the same with what happened on Talksport, like stuff like that, stuff like if we win, whatever, like say we're in a transfer window, if we got a shiny new toy or something, people just forget. People are creatures of like the moment. they're like it. Everything's like so much about humans and us as people is recency bias. It's like when something happens, like I'm seeing people talking at the moment about these owners are worse than the Glazers. No, they're not. Like that's recency bias talking. They're just not worse than the Glazers. We're talking about an ownership group who have continually put debt against the club, take money out of that club that they haven't worked for and haven't done anything to gain, and they use that money on other means. They no owner in world football outside of maybe Mike Ashley is worse than the Glazers, right? But you'll get people saying they are because they're stupid. And as I said, recency bias wins overall. So I think if we do win a couple games, like I said, people will just forget. Like people will just give up.
Because do you know what, Scott? It's the same idiots that said we were the Chelsea are back. We're in the title race. Look at Maresca, he's amazing. Overreacting, getting too giddy, yeah, all that rubbish are the same idiots that wanted to do protest and are saying the squad's not good enough and they're saying that we built a rubbish squad. It doesn't make any sense. How are you not jumping from one extreme to another in 2 months? How do you go from title challenges, Chelsea are back, to saying the squad is rubbish and we built a rubbish squad? It makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. I'm telling you, all of you now in the chat and everyone that's saying, yeah, let's do this protest. Is you not just saying it, running your same rubbish agenda that you've had for so long now, that you don't like these owners. You don't like the way the model. Cool, I don't like the model. I think they tweak the model a little bit. That's fine. But if you go to the protest and say, listen, change the model, fix up. This is not Chelsea's way of winning. We need better players. You know, we need to sign a proper striker and whatnot. That's fine. But going there and saying, yo, owners out, get out. And then going into the stadium and giving them money and going to the club shop. What's the point? What's the actual point?
By the way, that's another thing, by the way. I hope all the people that saying owners out and everyone that's going to the protest, I hope you're not going to the game after.
Scott, what is the point of doing a protest when you've got Fato who's going to go into the bloody club shop?
No, but the thing is, right? I understand why they've done it like this, because obviously they want a bunch of people to go. But like you said, when you've got like the 200 people or whatever it's meant to be at this point, it's going to be less than that. 200 people as well. It's jokes, by the way.
Sounds like a lot, but it's not.
It's not. Like when you consider the fact that we've got a 50,000 seater stadium, like it's really not that much. But when you've got like 200 people, right, going there to the stadium to protest, let's say they're there for the whole 2 hours before the game. Most of those people are then going to go into the stadium to spend their money or to go to that game that they've spent money on to go to, or to buy a beer or buy food from concourse, which they're spending their money on the club. Like I said, I hope all the people that are going to the protest, because I'm not going, I hope all 200 of you, I hope you're not going to the game. I hope you go home afterwards.
Yeah, it's honestly no one. Okay, their model is fine. No one's disagreeing. They need to change their model. That's fine.
Yeah, the model sucks. 100%. That's why I think the protests are good. If you're going there with the mindset of we need to do this to get them to change the model, 100%.
Yeah. Where is it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But in the canteen, bro. In the canteen, the guy's going to spend £200. What is the actual point? You lot are good. Like even we saw against Tottenham, they did that whole protest and then they went in and they ended up winning the game. You're not going to get owners out of the club when you're giving them money and you're paying for their shit. It's not going to happen.
On the point of like them, if we win and whatnot, do you know how I know that they won't care as much? Some people won't care as much. I don't think we win, by the way, against Villa. But if certain results go our way against Villa, let's say we beat Villa, regardless of how it happens, we beat Villa. If Wolves beat Bournemouth, which is feasible, if Newcastle beat Forest, which again is feasible, and if Liverpool beat City, which again is feasible, we go fourth again, 1 point behind Forest.
That's why I mentioned in the title, people at the start of the stream saying, "What's these stupid questions? Is this an overreaction?" Of course, it's a bloody overreaction. The same way you overreacted when we were performing well. It goes both ways. You overreacted when we were playing well, and you've overreacted now when we go on a bad run. It's the same thing. It's absolutely the same thing.
By the way, can we? Because I just want to talk about it because how stupid it is, and I keep like referencing it, and it keeps going back to some of the points I'm making. Can we reference that TalkSport interview, by the way?
Yeah,
Or can we
let's go.
talk
Go on,
about it?
go on. I saw it on
Bro,
Twitter, and a lot of people have seen it. But
By the way,
I saw
people,
it was 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm not listening to this rubbish.
if you haven't watched it, don't watch it. I can sum up the 10 minutes really quickly. Here you go. The guy that went on, Steve, proceeded to say it's nothing to do with what's happening on the pitch, then mentioned the model, which is entirely what's going on the pitch, pretty much. He said that the owners have accrued some debt with us, which they haven't, and if they have, it's against their own name. Said that debt, which is 140 million, according to him, is going to bankrupt us. Then chatted some more nonsense about financial stuff and it all being off the pitch, and he knows a lot because he's a Chelsea pitch owner, and then got cooked by Simon Jordan for the rest of it. That's the entire interview in a nutshell.
Simon Jordan's a legend, man.
And he then proceeded on Twitter afterwards to say that Simon Jordan's a brown envelope when you're talking about, I don't always agree with what he says. We're talking about one of the most, like, down the line, like, no shits given, just will criticize anyone and everything, people in sport. Who was a former owner of a football club, by the way, so doesn't need a brown envelope. Really doesn't need a brown envelope.
Nope. Doesn't need a brown envelope. But that's the go-to, right? When it doesn't go their way, oh, he's a brown envelope. He's a brown envelope. That just sums it up. But you can tell when you've won an argument with someone like that, you're a brown envelope. Okay. Then why are we talking?
We all know who to blame for this brown envelope rubbish.
Oh yeah, it's
brown.
Single worst thing.
I don't want to give that guy anymore.
Why do all these big accounts together talk rubbish, man? Honestly, man.
No, like I said,
they're Johnny Minerals a brown envelope.
He probably will.
Yeah, he is the brown envelope himself. It's the ironic thing. It's the ironic thing. He's a brown envelope himself when he goes, someone at the club told me, but okay, then who? Who told you then? So you're following him. So you're a brown envelope then. That's the funny thing. They don't realise these people those people in this chat that say others are brown envelopes, you're actually supporting a brown envelope. A racist brown envelope, but it's still a brown envelope. So, one of those.
Yeah, but no, like I said, just the fact that you've got people like that who are feel like they're speaking on behalf of the Chelsea fan base, which they're not and they never will do, who don't know how to make coherent points, don't even know what the fuck they're protesting about. Like, the one thing I could say about these owners, I dislike what they're doing. The one thing I can't say about them, and they have done almost flawlessly since they've got here, is from a business perspective, they've nailed damn near everything. Outside of the shirt sponsor issue this season, they have nailed damn near everything on the business side because they're successful businessmen. So I expect them to nail the business side. Why they're fucking up on is the football side because they're not football men. But then you've got morons saying that it has nothing. The protests have nothing to do with what's happening on the football pitch, which is factually wrong. Just factually wrong.
Yeah.
Because if we were second still, and if we were challenging Liverpool, and we had Osimhen and Elise and these man, no one would give a shit. We wouldn't be protesting.
But I know these guys, though. I know these. The thing about this is that why it should. This is the thing we were talking about earlier about why. Lauren said why wasn't the protest happening before because of the results. I also know why the protest didn't happen after the transfer window because we signed Neto and Sancho. So you go, like, when you do keys to, like, toddlers or, like, when you do a light on the wall for a cat to distract it, like a red light, something like that. So we signed Sancho because, remember, before the Neto signing, the biggest signing had been KDH and it was a shit window. It was a shit window anyway, but it was, like, the shittest of windows, right? But then we signed Neto out of nowhere. And then we signed Sancho, and then all the rumors of Osimhen, and we nearly got Osimhen. And then it distracted everyone. Why didn't we protest after the transfer window when we didn't get what we needed? Do you know what I mean? It was like, why didn't we do that? And it's so these comments make me laugh.
Yeah, I know. The comments is just
but in a good way. But yeah, but now with the stuff that's been reported today that the owners back the Clear Lake battler, but the sport directors, it now should be clearer. It should be you can chant Clear Lake and Blue Coat out with the knowledge in your head that they're not going to sell, right? Do you know what I mean? But you can still count them out. I have no problem with that. But now the main focus, okay, so you back them, so now it's all on you. Because if you back them, that means you're okay with how it's been run or how the players that they're buying. So now we can't really hold the sporting directors to account when you come out and give them the dreaded vote of confidence, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? So now that's on you. So what you've actually done by backing them is actually put it now all on you. But it won't. It will be clear their cow. That'll be the funny thing. People will be trying to blue coat and clear their cow at this protest at the same time, even though they're the same. It's the same. Barley out. Barley out.
Do you know what makes me laugh, honestly? Is that I've seen in the chat as well. Everyone keeps going on about how these owners don't care about the club. They only want money and they're only here for profit. I'm sorry. Do owners that don't care about the club go in for the best midfielders in the league at the time? They literally walk in and get Caicedo, Lavia within days of each other. Go in and slap that kind of money on Enzo Fernandez in January. You know, and by the way, the sporting directors who almost effed up the deal, the owners are the one that took matters in their own hands and basically put Rio Costa, whatever the guy's name is, into a headlock. I said, no, we're taking Enzo Fernandez. They're the ones that didn't give up on Caicedo. They got Caicedo and said, no, guess what? We're not done. We're getting Lavia. You know, Levi Colwell, who was everyone wanted, they slapped a 6-year deal on him. You know, don't tell me these owners don't care when they're doing all these things. Okay.
But do they want to make money? Yes, but they also won't.
Also want to make money.
But they also want it. But the thing is, though, is that they don't want to be associated with a rubbish product or brand, right? No one does. You spent $4.5 billion on a team which isn't worth $4.5 billion, by the way. But they spent $4.5 billion. But then these are investors, right? They always want their investments to work out and be successful. So but the money they spent is fine. It's just, for me, it's what the money's been spent on. I think that should be a clear message. It's like the money you spent has not been good enough. You know what I mean? You talk about opportunities, and there's so many opportunities that you've passed up that you haven't taken, which would have actually helped our first team. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's a different model and different finances, but if you just look at the way it's obvious that different people are running the women's team and the men's team.
Oh yeah, right? I said that the other day.
Because it can't be the same people. It makes no sense. Because Emma Hayes, goddess at this club, absolute goddess, right? What did they do? They brought in probably a manager who's better than her. They probably brought who's won the Champions League in the women's game. Who's undefeated. Who's undefeated. And also, sorry, Scott. Let me just. I know people. Let me just finish. We've already got fantastic defenders and midfielders. This past transfer window, when they bought the best up and coming American defender, didn't have to buy her. They just said they're going to get her, and they bought a great midfielder from Barcelona, English midfielder. Didn't have to, just did it. So I don't know, the finances are different and stuff like that, but it's not the finances, it's the optics, right? On that side, they've actually because remember when Emma Hayes, they announced they were leaving. Remember? Oh no, they've done it to the women's team now. The women's team's going to drop now. The standards have actually got higher in the women's team. So Emma Hayes is there.
By the way,
it's amazing.
On the Emma, there's so much I want to unpack with that. But on the Emma Hayes thing, do you know how jokes? By the way, people hate this ownership group so much that they're making up shit like they forced Emma Hayes out. Like, no, you morons. She asked to leave because she has family in America. Like, that's why she left. That's why she took the US job, is because she has family in America. Just to throw that out there for the morons that think that they forced her out. And also, you're right. Like, they got, like, Emma Hayes left and they went and got one of the best coaches in the world in the women's game. In the space of a year, I think it was, they broke the transfer record twice with a striker and then a centre-back. They bought one of the best right-backs in the women's game. They bought one of the best centre-backs in the women's game. Bought one of the best midfielders in the women's game. Bought one of the best strikers in the women's game. And we've also been linked with one of the best left-backs as well in Karchawi, and I think someone else, like, top level as well. I think they've also renewed as well Sam Kerr's contract, among other things. Like, none of what I've just said is what we're doing for the men's team. Regardless of different finances, whatever, right? Like, it's just nowhere near the same. And it's just, like you said, it's just weird to me. Like, it's obviously someone else running it, but I'm curious why it's done that way.
Honestly, Scott, it doesn't get any more stupid than this comment. Honestly.
No, it does. Jason's last comment.
We'll get into it, but hold on. No, they don't, bro. They will sell them for profit. Oh my
How
god!
do you-
What howler if we sell Caicedo for 220 million? Oh my god!
How
What howler?
brother? I need people to understand.
Someone explain this to me.
No, I need people to understand. There are certain players, well, most players in this team, they probably would sell for profit 100%.
Yeah.
No.
Most players,
The big players.
most teams, by the way, do try and sell their players for profit,
Yeah.
or like at least to break even if they're not wanted.
Yeah, but
Everyone
Scott,
does.
Scott, the point
How-
is
how-
this is responding to me saying that they do care by going the likes of Caicedo, Lavia, and Fernandez. And his response is, but they sell them for profit. Oh my god! So if we sell Lavia plus 80 million, or oh my god, one issue. If we sell Caicedo for 200 million or Enzo Fernandez for 200 million, is that a problem? Are you going to complain if we sell Enzo Fernandez to Real Madrid for 200 million? Oh no, we bought him and now we sold him for profit. What kind of rubbish are you talking about?
But it's also like, for us to be able to sell them for that price, they'd have to be performing at like best in the world level for us to sell them for that price.
It doesn't even have to be 200 million. I'm
And
exaggerating.
also,
Any profit from that is crazy.
Someone, Jason, my favorite new person in the chat, said they can make no money from the women's team, so they have no choice but to win. Well, that's not true. They didn't have to sign Sonia. They didn't have to. They didn't have to. They didn't have to actually. If the common theme is these guys don't care, then why did they sign a better manager? A better manager than Emma Hayes. Why did they sign the best young centre back in the world? Why did they sign the best English midfielder from Barcelona? Why did they do that? If they don't have to do that, they don't have to actually do that. So what? Why did they do that? 'Cause they want to win. Because we're leaders in the women's game. We're the best English club. We're one of the best European clubs, one of the best world clubs in women's football. We didn't have to do that. They made this. They took the standards and went even higher. So they didn't have to actually do that.
I also want to address the bit where he said compared to the men's game where you can flip players for profit. You do understand, right? And this has been my issue with part of my issue with these owners and the sporting directors and everything is like, like the single easiest way to make money in world football is to win. Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's literally the easiest way to make money in world football. Is like we have made 50 million from the Club World Cup for simply being in it. Should we win it? Should we somehow win it? Do you know how much we get, by the way, if we win it? I'll ask you two because I looked this up the other day.
Win what? The Champions League?
No, the Club World Cup.
Oh, is it 130 or something? Is it
100 million.
Yeah. Okay. You get 50 or 60 just from entering, don't you?
That's what I'm saying. So if we are in it, so just for being in it, and if we were to win it, we would get 100 and forget whatever else you get for like getting to each round and whatnot, like it is with the Champions League. We get 150 million for being in it and winning it.
By the way, Endurance summed it up why the protests are happening in their last comment. So
yeah, 100%.
That's why the protests.
The catalyst of all this is the lack of strike in the January window and a diminished play style due to Jackson Good's injury. Now everyone's reading into everything. This is exactly it.
Exactly why the protests.
And I'll tell you something.
I'm afraid.
This stems down also as much as yes. Listen, if anyone needs to get the main focus should be on the sporting directors more than anyone. If we're being real, okay, not owners rubbish. It's the sporting directors and the manager. Okay, because yes, cool. We got injuries of striker, and the sporting directors should have bought us a striker. But guess what? Your squad and your team and the performance shouldn't go from like 10 to or like 8 to 0 because of one player being injured or because Emmanuel Fofana being injured. That's not good enough. And the sporting directors should have done better. That's fine. But yeah, let's continue our agenda that people have been running since these owners walked in about how they're not good enough. Because let's be real, this all started when we got rid of Tuchel. The moment Tuchel got sacked and Potter came in and it went to shit, boom. Sporting directors out.
I think it was actually. I think the moment they actually went to this, they went full 100% into the model. Probably Jan 23 window probably was the one where it actually turned. Because if you look at summer 22 to Jan 23, those windows are not even the same. That was a Bowley window because we had supposedly Bowley leading window, and then you go to this one, which was. I know what they do. I know what these guys do now with the transfer windows. Like I said earlier, Neto and Sancho. Sign unknowns or question marks and then one or two names where you go, oh, okay. Because it blinds everyone then. It was like in the January 23 window. We signed all nobodies Enzo and Felix came in, blinded everyone like that. That's what happened.
Bro, that January window is shit. By the way, I look back at it.
It's shit,
Outside of Enzo and Santos has been nothing at this club, or none of it at this club, and Enzo has only really been from like this season. Like everything else from that window is either an L, a meh, or young, or both. Like, they're the only 2 W's from that window, and one of them is yet to play any minutes outside of preseason at this club.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then, like I said, I can't remember the summer one. It was Caicedo and Nicholas.
Yeah, it was Caicedo, Lavia.
Oh, actually, Caicedo, Jackson, Palmer.
That's the only successful window, and like,
that's the only one that's coming. Yeah, Gusto you can't count as someone, even though he's starting the summer because he was signed in January and then went back and stuff like that. But so it's one of those things. It's like there has to be 2 different sets of people running different sides of the men's and the women's game because it doesn't make sense if both were running the same, or both whoever was running the same, both teams. I don't get it, and then I don't get what's going on. So it can't be. Can't be. I think it was cooked, but I think the TalkSport interview is just the cherry on top of the cake. I think it was cooked before it because there's no consensus on what people.
No, I do think the TalkSport interview killed it because I think at least even if there was different messages, right, at least there would have been people there. Like whether it would have made a difference or not remains to be seen. I think that there are going to be people that watch that TalkSport interview that go, like, why am I protesting again? Like they're going to watch that.
They didn't really lead him in. They didn't really lead him into this. He said it of his own accord. It wasn't like they were setting him up and stuff like
the fact he even mentioned this on the thing, which is jokes. Like he comes in straight away, gets asked why the protests are going on, and immediately says this is nothing to do with on the pitch stuff. This is due to the way they're running the club or like the business side of it or something like that. Why didn't you do it at the start of the season? Fuck knows.
That's what I keep saying. It doesn't make any sense.
Bro, this is a guy that says we have 140 million pounds worth of debt that's going to put us out of business.
I know this just hides away from the manager though.
Oh, we got a regular. Yeah, this guy.
But Bobby,
since conspiracy theories again.
I see this guy's
information from.
No.
From his ass.
As per usual with these morons, they have only really looked into things a tiny bit. They've read one thing, not read everything, and decided to create something out of nothing. Bobby, in one sense, you're right. They did take out £500 million worth of debt. What you and everyone else seems to not have read into or not understand is they took it out against their own name, not against the club. So if they have any issues financially with that debt, it doesn't go back on the club. It goes back on them because they took it out in their own name.
I
honestly, how people
I don't give any airtime to a guy who supports a racist anyway. So it's all good.
It's just morons, bro. They're just idiots.
It just hides away completely from the fact that this manager is not doing as well as he should be. The players look.
No, he's not doing it at the moment. He's not. At the moment, he's not. At the moment, in this run of form, yeah, you're right. In this run of form, he's not. You're right. But he had been doing prior to. Shall we say the Fulham game? I think the Fulham game onwards, it's sort of like spiraled.
Oh yeah, Christmas Boxing Day.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm sorry, the players look clueless. They don't know what they're doing. There's no.
That's true, and that's true, and that's where we will go on. Maresca and say that's why I think Maresca needs to change the system or try something new because it's not working. Right? It's just not working at the moment. You don't have the inverting thing that's not working, so that's on Maresca. What I'm saying is like what I'm saying is now people are now going, he's a championship manager. Well, he wasn't a championship manager during the winning run. So, now he's a championship manager. What was he now? Was he a Champions League manager during the winning run? I will go back to the model again and I will say, even in January, I say he's done a very good job with what you've given him and probably overachieved. And now we're seeing what I thought the team would plateau to be an up and down inconsistent side. That's an immature side, and our fan base is immature because you go from 6 weeks ago we got our Chelsea back to now we want our Chelsea back.
And it's a big account as well.
Yeah, the whole thing about Chelsea, it's immature. That's what it is. The word for Chelsea is immature at the moment. Fan base, the manager, the players, the directors, the ownership. It's all immature.
And they focus on the wrong things. They focus on that rugby guy coming in and being a motivator or whatever. Who gives a shit? Why are you caring about that?
It's just reported, though. It's just reported news. That's when something's reported, you just react to it. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Oh my god! Listen, Maresca needs to get top 4. As simple as that.
He needs to get a Champions League spot. Whether that's 4 or 5, he just needs to get a Champions League spot. No. If there are 5 places, for Champions League, then 4th or 5th, it doesn't matter. It's a Champions League spot. You know what I mean? That's what he needs to get. That's what he needs to get from it. That's what he needed to. That's what he needs to get. But I will say again, there are 2 things. He needs to change things now. We're not happy with the owners because they choose to employ these sporting directors who are choosing to run this model the way it is. So no, we're not.
Exactly.
Having standards is immature. No, what I'm saying about immature is your reaction, or if you're part of them, of this fan base saying we got our Chelsea back 6 weeks ago to now saying we want our Chelsea back. So that's the immature I'm saying.
Like a lot of these big accounts, you can't go from
these big accounts now. These big accounts now have a problem with how we run, but prior to that, said nothing. Really.
If anything, they praise. I saw someone they were praising them before the protest, before the bad form, and now they're saying get out.
By the way, to the Muppet in the chat, and you know who you are. You know that Clear Lake Capital have a portfolio of 92 companies that they own, yeah, or partly own. If they're worried about making that, they're buying companies. By the way, I went and looked. They're buying companies for multiple billions of dollars. They can pay back a £500 million loan easily.
This is which mentality? Is it about the owners or us?
Sold a company for 140 million, which is nuts. After buying them for like 2 point something, like we're talking about elite businessmen. Forget what they do in the football side. These guys are elite businessmen.
Yeah.
Your question for you, Andrew. Does that American system change stop the centre back from doing dumb defensive actions or the attackers making poor final third decisions?
I don't know, but I also think he this is where I will have one of the things I want to go and rescue about, and what I criticised Poch was that he knew Fofana was out and he put Badiashile in there to try and settle a defensive pair. Then Badiashile injured, but since then he's not had even when everyone's fit, he hasn't picked a, no matter what you think of how good they are, he hasn't picked a settle back two. Do you know what I mean? A centre back partnership. He hasn't done it. He's shipped them in and out like that, so they can't get a good rhythm. Because I think they weren't the best, but I think Fofana and Cole were starting to build something before Fofana got injured. Do you know what I mean? A relationship at least. But that's why I say put three at the back. He has to try something different, Ziad. He has to try something different.
My main issue is the players look clueless. They like there's no system, there's no style of play, there's nothing. There's not one thing. All we're doing is giving to the wingers and letting them cross it. That's it. That's what we do in games.
But that also goes back to it. That also goes back to the recruitment. We bought two creative wingers, but no striker with box presence. I mean,
Jackson, would you say Jackson's box presence?
No.
So, but
not as what it should be.
We're playing fine, good football when he was playing.
No. But we were also playing Enzo a bit higher up. We were inverting Caicedo from right back. Let's not
complicate life. We were playing better football. Full stop.
Right.
And the moment Fofana gets injured, it looks like it goes to shit. That's not good enough. It's not good enough.
But that's
what you got to focus on. You can't focus on playing well, and then all of a sudden it goes to shit. That's what you focus on.
Yeah, that's understandable, and that's why I said he needs to make drastic changes now. It's not working, and we've lost, and we're losing nearly a player every match now, and he can't play those two wingers, Nkunku and Palmer together because we need an option off the bench, and we don't have that now. Do you know what I mean? So that's why.
Nkunku and Palmer play together. They stink, bro. They got negative.
I said for a couple of weeks. I don't think Palmer fits the way in the system in the role that he's being given. I
disagree. I think Palmer suits fine. Like we've seen him play in the system. I don't think Nkunku suits this system at all.
I think Palmer needs to go off to the right.
Bro, if he goes off the right, who plays 10?
Well, I still think
Kunku and Palmer can't.
I still think we have. But even if you play Palmer now with the injuries, I still think you're not going to get. Still think you're going to have issues because I don't know about you guys. That game against Brighton, there was so much space between the attackers; they didn't even go to each other. You know
So I'm saying
they had so much space, and everyone's going to have a go at Sancho. That's fine, but he's not a touchline winger. He drifts in. He likes to drift in, but you're asking him to, and that's on Maresca for asking him to do that, by the way. And that's why.
I'm striker thing. Are we saying a striker fixes all our issues?
It fixes some issues.
It means we play good football and better football.
It fixes a lot of our attacking issues because then, like Andrew said, you've got a guy in Sancho who's a guy who wants to link up play, whether it's with the 10, the striker. He wants to link play. The only person he's linking with right now is Cucurella on a regular basis. You've got a guy in Neto whose best period in his career was having someone in the box to aim for crosses or to, like, again, play off or whatever. I mean, we don't have that. You can see Palmer plays best when he's playing with Jackson in general, just because, again, he's got someone to link off of and there's a focal point up front. Like, it would fix a lot of our attacking issues. It doesn't fix the defensive problems because most of our defenders are bozos. And I think it says a lot that I still maintain, despite how bad he was against Brighton, that Chalobah is our second best centre-back. That's not me giving a ringing endorsement for Chalobah, by the way. That's telling you the rest of the centre-backs we got are shit. Like, that's just how it is. And again, so much of that, even though I agree that, like, Maresca has some fault to take, bro, these squad directors have compiled a squad for him that is fucked. Like, these pieces don't mesh together. How have you got, bro? We've got, like I just said, we've got Nkunku and Palmer in the team. Those are our two attacking options down the middle currently. They have negative chemistry. I've watched them in about 4 different games this season where neither of them look like they have any idea how to play together. Neither of them look like they have any idea how to play together in this system. Neither of them look like they have any idea where they're meant to be, both of them. Like Andrew said, there was a moment, because I was at the game against Brighton 3-0. There's a moment in the second half, and Palmer gives Nkunku the ball, makes a run in behind, and Nkunku goes out left to Sancho. And you see Palmer in the middle throw his hands up. Like, no, I want the ball through the middle. So it's like, these guys can't play together.
Okay, Scott.
Yeah, and now we're not even like, it's evident in the last 3 away games, we're not even creating a lot of chances. Like, during this
run, not doing anything.
During this run before, though, like the games we've drawn or lost, we've created chances where you go, man, if we've taken all those chances, we've got those points, right? But we're not even doing that now. From the City away game, we've hardly created any chance. Well, nothing against Brighton the last game. 1-2 in the FA Cup game, and a City that, apart from the goal, that's just the other Palmer chance that he wasted, or that pass to Jackson. We're hardly doing that anymore. Do you know what I mean? And Bobby he'll put a debt person on there, but it won't be someone who talks out of his ass like you.
I say we'll get a debt specialist, someone who thinks that, you know, the debt is against the club.
I'm not going to invite someone that's going to speak about shit they don't know about.
Like this guy is incompetent to the league.
A man's going to sit here giving me 700-800 million, no debt in debt. Bowley owns this much. Like, bro, let's be real, man.
Yeah. On a side note as well, I don't know about Ziad. I'm not going to speak for him, but I personally wouldn't invite anyone on my channel that endorses a racist. But there we go.
Yeah. And also, just can you bring up the capital letter one about the protest? I just want to address that. Thank you for your message. That's great, and I understand why. That's your reason. That's a good reason to protest. Why wasn't this protest mentioned prior to the Fulham game that we lost? All those games
start of the season, we still need every
start of the season after the transfer window, when we didn't get a goalkeeper and a striker and a defender and a midfielder in support. Why wasn't it then? Why wasn't it done?
Season, we still needed.
Why wasn't it done when Maresca was hired? Why wasn't it done when we had those the first manager list and the first 2 top names were Maresca and McKenna? Why weren't the protests then?
Yep. With what F says as well, like if everyone at the protest had this kind of message and was this united, I think the protest would be a success.
That is the message. That is the message you should be.
The message should be given. Whatever the tagline is, if it is Clear Lake out, change the model, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as the idea behind the protest is this.
That's it. If S was running, let's tell you what, protest was going on, if S was running the protest and this is the message to get behind S. But I fear it will be lost.
Yeah.
That's the message. But this protest, there are so many messages. It's ridiculous, and it's confusing.
There's no point. There's no point of going to a protest.
There's no
One
consensus.
wants the owners out, the other wants Clear Lake out, the other wants Bowley out, the other wants Spawn directors out, the other wants Sanchez out, the other guy wants Madueke out. What's the point?
The Spurs protest, while it was a good protest, let's see if they continue it on, because I don't know if they will. But it's one clear message from the Spurs protest: Levy, Enoch out. No change. Levy, Enoch out. That's it. That's it right there. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point of going to a protest that's got 15 different meanings. Absolutely, there's no point. I don't really agree with all these positions anyway.
Yeah.
This goal scoring wingers and like
salary.
That's brilliant. Drill that again. Protest should have happened when we were 10th last year. Exactly. That's it.
That's what's been joked. There's been ample opportunity to do this protest, and I'm just, why now?
We got Jardel. We won Jardel over, man. We got him, man. We got, bro. W as well.
By the way, again, I hate addressing him, but it's just I love proving people wrong and making people look stupid. Bobby's last comment: we don't have a salary cap. There are 7 players, 6 of whom are currently with the squad, that are earning over 150k. So I hope this helps.
And if we make Champions League football, wages go up.
Oh, this includes, because I know he and other people are going to say this. This includes players we bought in the most recent summer window, by the way. So I hope this helps.
Yeah, it's nonsense, bro. It's,
I mean, we'll leave Bobby. Unless he insults us, we'll leave Bobby to Joey in the chat. Joey's got him sorted out in the chat.
Yeah, listen, man. I don't have any no point of banning or timing on, man. Let them.
Leave him. No, unless he's like mean or just leave him. You know what I mean?
It's just that they've had long enough. They've had long enough to buy a proper goalkeeper, buy a proper striker, and that's it.
I like what most of us here, I think, is smart as well. Like, if that was the justification of why now, cool. We waited until after the 4 windows that you said we should give you, and now it's not like it's a problem. That's fine. But again, that's not the message that's been given, and that's not the reason, and that's not the why now. Like, it's just a load of like nonsense and.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean all of a sudden?
Again,
there's no such thing as all of a sudden.
Reece James on 250, right?
No, Andrew, don't you worry. Let me name you the players. Since I'm feeling tired. We got Reece James on 250k a week. We got Wesley Fofana on 200k a week. And Nkunku's on 195. Enzo Fernandez is on 180. Kukurea is on 175. Sterling is not here, but he's on ones. We're paying obviously half, so we're paying 162,500. And Pedro Neto, who we bought in the summer, is on 160,000, which is more than 150,000. Hope this helps.
And that's what happens, Bobby, when you go to Wikipedia or you listen to idiots bringing numbers out of their asses and you expect them to be right. Listen, man. It's when you might know a lot about Chelsea's history and the pitch owners and the stadium, but if you're going to sit here and try and convince me to, that's what I'm saying exactly. That you might know about the finances and how much Bowley is going in and out and how much debt we're, and then. Listen, mate. You can try that somewhat. Yeah, okay.
It's a problem when you have an intake of minerals daily without the doctors checking. That's what it is right there.
Yeah, let's not. Anyway, man.
Let's talking facts, bro. Like, ultimately,
we're not going to use that comment here, though, man.
No. We're not going to use that comment. But this ultimately is the problem in it, and it goes back to like what I said earlier about like what people are going there for as well, in terms of like the tweet that came out yesterday, I think it was, with the chants that are going to be used. And it's just like, that's the only reason you're going there. Then I need people to understand, right? And I know they won't. Go for I'm not like, some of them are xenophobic, some of them are not. Like, there's ones that's like, there's
I thought it was gonna be like Kalec out or some shit, bro. I don't know.
No, it's like Roman Abramovich. There's
Roman Abramovich. Like, where is he gonna be like Superman and come back up? Where is he gonna come from?
It's out. I know Lewis quote tweeted it, so if you want, you can go find it there. But there's 2 things with that. Number one is that's not going to do anything. You look stupid. Like, you look like a moron. Number 2, and this is what I hope is that, because people, they're already stupid, they're already thick, right? But what I hope is like more important for them is like, this is already getting traction in terms of it's being spoken about on TalkSport. This probably will get media attention in terms of cameras and or radio or whatever, or people getting interviewed while there. If you are there and you are heard or seen, or the Chelsea fan base is heard or seen doing xenophobic chants, how does that look? How does that look for our club when we're already is a racist club?
Yeah,
The whole fan base thinks, man, from top to bottom. Anyway, man. Listen.
yeah, that'll be the news though. It won't be about. It'll be the news. I can see the head. I can hear the. I can hear the news lady or news anchor now go.
Simon Jordan.
Xenophobic chants heard at Chelsea game. Heard at Chelsea protest, and it won't be what the protest should be about. It should be about. It'll be just that. And can you imagine? If like I said, if we had Saudi owners, well, clearly they can't run by Saudi. that's my conspiracy theory. So, but imagine we had Saudi owners of a certain faith. Would they then say we want those people out? Do you know what I mean? No. Well, actually, I think some of them might. No, in our no, but what I mean is, it's the whole thing. It's like, but people won't see that Y word when it comes to Americans. They don't see that as a derogatory.
The thing is, you see it straight away. The day after the protest, TalkSport, Simon Jordan, these stupid fans talking about irrelevant rubbish it's not going to help anyone. It just makes them look stupid, makes the club look stupid, and it just, if anything, creates more problems. Because I can promise you now, this protest is going to create more problems than it's going to solve.
I don't know. I really think it depends how many turn up.
I think Joey said in his thing that he was willing to bet that it'd be under 100, and I would not be shocked because the fact there was 200 willing to go anyway, then the whole TalkSport thing and just people get into that day. Because I'll be real, I'm not going for multiple reasons. Number one, I refuse to associate myself with racists and xenophobes. Number two is it literally starts when I finish work on that day, and it would take me about an hour to get there. Fuck that. Number two, I'd only go if I was, or three, I'd only go if I was going to the game, and four, I just don't have the money. So why the fuck am I going? Why would I go? I've got better things to spend my money on.
Anyway,
I was just gonna say very quickly before Andrew goes, one of the things I'd love to do is the people saying the Clear Lake out and Blue Co out and whatever it is. I would love to find out from them who they would want as an owner if they did leave, and it can't be Roman Abramovich.
Yeah,
because if even one of them mentions English, we can have some conversations about English owners and how fantastic they do in the league. Sorry to say fantastic, I meant shit.
Yeah, Ineos.
Any final comments, Andrew?
No, listen, I back the protest, but they have to continue. Can't just be even if we were to get Champions League and win the Conference League, I think your protest would have to continue after that, especially with the model. Because I already know what the summer transfer. I already know, yeah, exactly. Or else it's like while they got I referred to the Spurs one, while they got 1,000 people to show up, that's great. But I've seen Spurs have so many protests and it doesn't go anywhere. Are they going to have another protest at their next home game? You know what I mean? Because otherwise it's like we said earlier, if we beat Villa, Southampton, Leicester, are those protests going to be mentioned again? That's what I'm saying. It's like, do it, and it doesn't have to be violent. It can be respectful. Are you gonna protest in the ground as well, like before the game, during half time, after the game?
No.
Well, they might do, but then when we score, everything will be forgotten.
Yeah. And then when we win, it's gonna be forgotten. And then as soon as whatever, man. I'm not backing no protests. They don't even know why they're going. They're going to a bunch of people screaming, and they don't know what they're trying to achieve from it. So anyway, listen, people. Big up to every single one of us locked in. I appreciate Andrew and Scott hopping on. We're gonna go raid over to Hussam. Wolves. Where is it? Who are they playing? Wolves or Aston Villa?
Villa.
Sassy is starting in that game, by the way.
He has to because he can't play against us at the weekend, can he? So he has to start today.
Yep. Let's go there. So, boom. Let's get back going in this chat, man, people. Let's know what Disassy's goal was. Well, you know what? Let's think.
Bro, they got Disassi and Ming starting together, bro. That is.
Let's make him think Disassi scored, bro, as well, man. Go over to him, show him some love.
Let's see what happens with Chelsea. Name right.
Oh, Diassi, bro.
Diassi.
Oh, man like Diassi.
Good Lord.
That's all. Oh, whatever, Diassi, man.
Good Lord. That's the problem with spell check. It doesn't do it for capital letters. That's the problem.
How do you spell this guy's name?
Disapay, how it's said.
Whatever, man. There we go. Spam it in the chat. You really lost by his own name, man. Big up to everyone who's locked in, man. And let's see.
Yeah, Brig Nation. That's right. Yeah, Brig Nation.
Big up to all of you who's locked in, man. Love.